What's up, y'all? It's your boy Kuya P and my pal Heather Hertz here to give you our entertainment picks for the month, the first week. It's just first and 1 and 2 was last week.
First
The
full
first
week.
official full week.
First official full week.
That's what I was looking for, but apparently my brain isn't working right now. The amazing Heather, how are you, Heather? We're doing our picks this week. I don't know where my brain's at right now.
That's all right. I don't know where it is either. Mine's somewhere in Buffalo still, I think. I had to do a 7-hour drive all by myself, y'all.
Yes,
Um,
he did, and I'm so thankful she's cracking and alive right now, y'all.
yeah,
She went through it
that
this past week.
that's United. You and I need to have a conversation. Just gonna say that. But I did get to go. I did decide that because if I have to drive 7 hours, I'm going to go see Niagara Falls. I'm going to spend some money and provide any financial support I can to the National Park Service. It was only $10 to park and get some beautiful pictures. So you know what? I'm going to do it. But it's other than that, I've been working. I don't know if y'all, I have a filter on, but like I'm like super sunburned right now because of decisions I made. I'm doing some stuff for the government, helping out communities directly, and that's what we want to do. But other than that, been watching a lot of stuff because I know you're going to ask this next. Been watching a lot of stuff that I both can and cannot talk about, but I'm also sure that we're going to talk about most of it during the show. So it's like, eh. But other than that, I've been watching. You know what? I've actually been watching something that I haven't watched in a long time. Commercials. I've been watching stuff with commercials.
That's
Um,
weird.
I don't miss it. I don't miss commercials.
Same. It has been
I
like political ads, and Trump just still trying to get people. Well, the lobbyers or whatever. Heather is
Yeah,
when I've you. It's nonstop. We're not
it
even. It's
is.
not even election time, but there's these lobbyists. Trump is doing this, isn't he? Doing such a great job right now. What the fuck are you smoking? Like
You know, I will
it's
say
crazy.
I like to. So I didn't get to spend a lot of time in the hotel, because I was working a lot. I was doing like when it came down to it, like spending time with coworkers, actually doing stuff. I was doing about a 10-12 hour day. But when I had TV on, I like to fall asleep to like fun animated shows. So like Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, like some of those things that just make you feel good. And or make you feel positive. And so luckily enough, there wasn't much of that on there, but there were a lot of like really terrible infomercials. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't miss seeing a Judge Judy commercial. I do not miss seeing a knockoff clothing brand that's trying to sell you on all of these fake brand commercials. I'm not, I'm, I don't need to see any more Bob's Furniture commercials. I'm good. But yeah, there's definitely that problem of, they are spending a lot of our dollars to really upsell the fact that this presidency is a massive failure that's actually um causing global damage. But good news is I didn't have to deal with much of that. But I also realized very quickly that I don't miss commercials. I do not miss
Yeah.
commercials.
Same. I'm pretty good of missing them. I'll skip around. The only time I really get it is when I'm watching the news. I like to check in on the news. But also, I wanted to get your opinion on this. Although I know I can look it up myself, because this also bothers me when people, what do you think of this, or what do you know about this? When, dude, you're on the fucking internet, you can just look the shit up. You're on the
Called
most
www.google.com.
hello, exactly right. But it's been entering my feed. I didn't do any deep dive research into it, like I said. So I just wanted to throw it out there because I know you're plugged into the culture
Am
always.
I? Am I? Am I plugged in? Are we sure about that?
So well, basically I've been seeing this men gorilla thing, and I don't know what it's about, but I'm thinking it's just male chauvinistic patriarchal bullshit. Is that what this whole male versus gorilla thing? I've been seeing a lot of that on my feeds. I don't know. I didn't dive in, and hearing your face. You haven't dived into it either.
I
You
have
not seeing
not.
that on your feeds?
I'm still talking about why I choose the bear. I guess I'm behind the times.
Yeah, there's like 100 men versus a gorilla thing, and everybody's like, the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what
I
it
don't
is, and
know
yeah,
what is
there's
going
all these.
on, and what
I
does it matter? I'm gonna if you're telling me that the gorilla, like, why are we even fucking with a gorilla? Let a gorilla live. Like, what
Let it
is
be.
this?
Let it
Feels like
be.
patriarchal male bullshit.
I only saw one reference to it, and it was one guy, and what I saw was it was like man versus gorilla or something like that. I was just like,
Yeah.
no, the gorilla's gonna win. They're literally like 3 times your size. But it seems like a lot of it is that. A lot of it is just uh masculine, overly masculine, but not usually very testosterone men that just believe that they can beat anything that they can, and it's usually a sign of abuse, of an abusive nature. Incels, it's all incels. But at the same time, I don't want to say or confirm because I'm not really sure. It also could be a joke. Like so much of this could have been, it's some random person making a joke about how a gorilla can beat up men, and then some man got angry. You never know.
Yeah.
Um, I will say though that the bear that stole the pints of ice cream. Now you'll know. The last week, yes, the bear got stole like 5 pints of, I think, like a vanilla ice cream or something from a Kroger, I think. And I'm like, this is why we choose the bear. This is why we choose the bear.
You know what? Same. That I remember that also being a thing, the choosing the bear thing. And
Yeah.
I was like, of course. Like,
I work with so
and
I
I
work with
say
people.
that as a man. Like,
Absolutely. I mean, if you are one of the people, if you are a man who understands why women choose the bear, then you understand it. If you are one of those men that argue about that why they would choose the bear, then you do not understand and you need to educate yourself. But with that being said, I did meet I am fortunate enough to work with a lot of people who have done very, very, very good things with their lives. People who have worked at like child health centers, at family health centers, at they've done a lot of volunteering with great people. I don't know why I get to work with them. I'm a podcaster who goes to school and does marketing, and yet here I am working with people who are literal saints. And he's like, one of the people I worked with was, I brought up the bear versus the human thing, and he's like, I don't get it. I have been around bears. I would not pick the bear, and I'm like, then you've never been a woman. And he's like, that's fair. That's 100% fair.
well, you choose to support, you choose to be an ally, you choose to serve. That is why you're there, Heather, and why you're so important. So let me just put that out there. I love it. But yeah, this craziness out there, like you said, with commercials and then those lobbying things to make you think that Trump is whatever. Like,
Millions of dollars.
ugh. And then these ridiculousness on the internet. It always bothers me. Yeah, like does that not bother? Like you're on the fucking internet. Why are you asking people? Why are you posting a thread? Just search the shit yourself. Like I don't get it sometimes. It's like it kills me. Like
There are, if, for
the
those of
device
you
is
who
in your
are,
hands.
for those of you who are on threads, I've actually gotten to the point where I'm finally at a trolling level. I've brought in my inner Gail Simone, and I have finally I've let out my inner Gail Simone, and I have finally started trolling people. And the number of times that I've been like, "Oh, honey, bless your heart," it's spelled www.google.com. The number of times I have posted that lately is since January 20th has been a lot. A lot. I am at that trolling point where I just don't give a shit anymore. And it's if you ever want to go see a really good fun post, and you're on Facebook, and you're following the Alt National Park Service, who you should, because they are amazing. I posted about how Trump and Vance decided to bully Zelensky when he came over, and it's a very fun argument. And this woman decides that she's not going to have that, it's bullying, and that he was actually bullying Trump and Vance. And I started with, oh, honey, bless your heart. Let me explain this to you, because you clearly don't know how to understand body language. And it's just the number of people who got to laugh at that. Let your inner troll out. They decided to troll us for 4 years. It's time for us to troll them, because we can do it better and we have references for it. So do it. But anyway, PP, what have you been watching?
A lot of things, and what we're going to be talking about now. So let's just get right into it, because we have
Sure.
4 picks that we're throwing at the people right now. And I'm sure we'll add more to it. So speaking of the horrors of the world, we have a horror slasher hitting the screens from Shudder and RLGE Entertainment, and it also includes clowns, which is horror in itself as well, I have to say. Let's get to Clown in a Cornfield dropping this week.
That's one of the things I've never been scared of.
You're not
Like, I've
afraid
had
of clowns?
friends.
Show you.
No.
Girl.
Yeah, it is really
Okay, I
cool.
lie. We'll talk about it after, but I lie. Sort
Metal
of.
springs, baby. I got all kinds of stuff.
Does it work?
Try it.
Look
They're really big on tradition around here.
Every year, there's this parade where everyone gathers around a
Evan
friend.
Durand.
Friendo.
It's the clown on all the Bay Pen corn syrup labels. He's practically a local legend.
Smile, Philly girl. You're about to become a sensation.
Sorry, Tucker Over Evil is awesome.
Be careful who you hang out with. There's some real weirdos at this town.
Yeah, 6. Very funny, man.
Hey, Ginger! You okay?
There's a psycho dressed up like Friendo, trying to kill us! Call 911! Where's the button, Jen? What is this? What kind of phone is this?
Oh, I love that piece right there.
To be fair, I don't know how to use spin dial phones either.
Are you fucking serious right now? Don't play with me.
No.
Wow. All right, Clown in the Cornfield dropping this week. As of this recording, I actually screened it today, and hopefully Heather will have a chance as well this week, and we'll have a review by the end of the week. And also, Heather might be speaking with some of the talent involved as well. We're still working on that, y'all, so fingers crossed for us. By the time you see this, it would have been done by now, so maybe that energy is in the air, and we're making it happen. So stay tuned to the channel. What do you think about Clown in a Cornfield, Heather? And you said you could maybe tell us that you were not maybe scared of clowns?
Okay, so I'll explain the fear. So when I was a kid, I was afraid of people in costumes. So like many people, it was kind of that overarching anyone in costume I was afraid of. And now that I have worked, I have taken pictures with Santa and the Easter Bunny. I have been an Easter Bunny before. I was the shortest Easter Bunny. I didn't have to duck under doorways, like I was that short. Now that I actually understand that it's actually a very common fear. Usually you are not just afraid of clowns, you are afraid of anything that's bigger than you, and it usually happens between 18 months and 6 years old. So parents, when you're taking your kids to Santa, it's 18 months is right when they start screaming. It's usually between 3 and 6 when they stop. So pro tip. But I was afraid a little bit longer than I should have been. I didn't break from that fear until I was about 9. McGruff the crime dog helped me through that. So yeah, got out of it that way. I'm from a very small town in North Texas. And so we used to have a lot of the characters came to the grocery store. We had, family Halloween stuff. And there were a lot of costume characters there all the time. And I had a grave fear of them. But when I broke that, I broke it all. It's all gone. I have no fear of clowns. I have no fear of people in costumes. I don't like horror. I don't like haunted houses for reasons that I jump at fucking everything. So it's like I'm a pansy. I jump at everything. But it's not the people in costumes that scare me. Like I used to do their makeup. I love doing horror makeup. I used to do it semi-professionally for a while. But it's one of those where I just never. I was afraid of people in costume. Usually that manifests into a single type of fear, such as a fear of clowns. That's usually where that kind of manifests from. So do I have a fear of clowns now? No. Would I probably kick one in the balls if it came at me with a saw or something? Probably, because clowns can be dickheads, saying that from profession. I do have friends who have parents that are clowns. I had one of my good friends in elementary school, middle school. Her parents were clowns. They're just some assholes out there. It's just in every industry.
It takes a certain type of person to be a clown.
Absolutely. But Clown in a Cornfield is based off of the novel by, I just forgot who it is. I had to look that up again. Adam Cesar, it's an interesting one. I read it a while ago. Yeah, I read it. It was one of those like freebies that you could have gotten on Audible. I didn't read it. I didn't listen to the Audible of it. And it was interesting. I love reading horror. I love watching horror, but reading it is a little bit more palpable for basically anyone. So if you're trying to get into horror comics are actually a really great way to start your entrance into horror because it helps you. You're not getting those big jump scares, but you're seeing those same elements in the same kind of methodical way. But it's so I like to read horror a lot, and yeah. So I have read the book. I'm very interested. I'm going to watch it tomorrow ahead of my interview. Crossing fingers. We haven't gotten assurances on it yet, but I am looking forward to it because I do believe the writer who was a producer. I do believe he is on the list. So I think we saw his name there.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, I had a fun time with it. I can't wait for that conversation once you finally check it out. I'm not afraid of clowns. I just don't like clowns. You know.
Fair. Mm-hmm.
They're a bit of an asshole, and yeah, they're just assholes. Anyway, my love to my friends that are also do clown work as well. I have friends that are, professionals and do all kind of stuff, but you could be an asshole. So anyway, I love it. Thanks for sharing your story. And actually, Madison, when she was younger, kind of had the same thing. She kind of started, okay with it, but then as she got a little bit older, yeah, she didn't know. She didn't want to take pictures with, they scared her.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it sucks because like we were going to like, these big theme parks and take a picture with Charlie Brown or whatever when it was like King's Dominion or whatever. And, she didn't want to do that. And I'm like, parents, I wanted like the family picture with the mascot. And
absolutely, parents, there are, and we say this all the time, parents, do your research. There are some really great studies about how you can introduce your kids and how in the most traumatizing periods in a kid's life when it comes to those types of things, and how if you push them too far, it might become a permanent fear. Once again, I didn't break that fear that most kids have broken by the time they're 5 or 6 until I was 9. And I had to literally, I was shaking, I was shivering like really hard. The McGruff, the crime dog, the person in the costume like recognized that and like was slow and was careful and gave me a big hug. And that's what broke me. But it was me, not my parents, not anything like that, as a small child having to go up and break it myself. Police looked that information up because you can actually stop a very, very now very common phobia by just by just educating yourself on how to introduce your child to people in costumes without traumatizing them to meet Santa Claus.
Definitely agree. I've seen it happen firsthand. So thank you for sharing that, Heather. Let's move on from a horror to a thriller. We got all types of projects dropping this week, which is why we have so many different picks this week, y'all. So let's head over to Vertigo releasings. So Torn. Here we go.
Rest her soul would have been done and gone by now. Not running her business under the ground.
If I were to tell you why I did what I did, when I was broke and alone, would you pity me? Or would you say that my actions were justified?
I see you stitching there, darling, needles dance, you're so charming.
Perfect crime. Call police. Drive away. Choices. Choices. Choices.
Oh, darn it, Barbara. Do you think your father would approve of your actions?
No, he's going to be very upset. And now he's going to kill me. He's going to kill you. You and you.
Choices. Choices. Choices.
Mobile seamstress, suddenly not so mobile.
That shit, sir!
First kill is always the hardest.
Choices.
All right, there you go. So Torn is arriving in theaters this week from Vertigo releasing. Man, I got to tell you, Heather, this film really took me by surprise. It's by writer-director Freddie McDonald, who is the youngest. I forgot what great organization he became a part of, but this is his debut film, his first feature ever. He did a short film based, originally with this film, a short film called So Torn, that then got seen by the Coen brothers or something like that, and they're like, wow. And the word got around. He was the youngest part of this other selected to become part of this grouping of I'm trying to remember all the write-up that they sent me, but just an amazing young talent. So he got selected, and then I forgot what group, Vertigo and some other groups, now fully funded adapted that short into this full-length feature, and so amazingly well done. I was very surprised by this. We watch a lot of films all the time, Heather. But this film, it's a film about choices one makes when you presented a situation, and we see these 3 different acts within this film of this particular scene that you saw, and on how it could have ended this way, or how it could end this way or this way. Just really well done, and just the acting is on point, the cinematography, the music. I was very impressed. So Freddie McDonald, I will be looking out for this guy as he develops. I told him during my interview. So also FYI, I interviewed Freddie McDonald as well as Caleb Worthy, one of the actors in this. That will be up by the time this drops as well. So look for my So Torn interview. But yeah, man, just an amazing young talent, and kind of is one of those talents that gives you hope for where this industry is going, creating his own original material, and just doing just kick-ass work. What did you think of that trailer?
I don't know what to think. As hearing that it might be an anthology kind of way, I like it. I like that news. But I really don't know how I feel about it. It's one of those where it gave you a lot, but didn't give you enough. And I think that's kind of the point, it looked cool, but at the same time, it also looks kind of cliche. But with you saying that, I'm very interested. I like concepts of anthologies. It's a lot of fun to see different takes, different directions, different views of the same story. So I'm down. If you had just shown me that point blank, I would have been I have no idea what I'm looking at. But with the description, with information, I think I would totally watch that. I'm totally down. Yeah.
Respect. And just for those that are curious, this young seamstress was helping out at a wedding. She's now going back to. I don't want to spoil things. She's going back to her shop to get some things, and then runs across this crime that's on the street. And we then see 3 different choices throughout this film of choices she could have made when dealing with being presented with the situation. And it's really well done, and how it all overlays and what things could have been, and just through the mastery and the way it works, and then the characters. I just really enjoyed myself. It surprised me. And So Torn in theaters this week, from a bright young creative, and as well as the talents that were both in front of this camera and behind the camera. I recommend it. I'm always very pleasantly surprised with the volume of work Heather and I always have to watch. When something comes along and sparks you like that, you got to give it a nod. So I'm definitely giving it a nod. All right. Moving into the action side of things, we have a brand new film from Vertical Entertainment that we will also have some dope-ass interviews from my pal Heather, because I had to take the flight route and she took the fight route because of scheduling. So shout out to Heather for fighting a good fight for me, because I had a flight somewhere else and do other realms of responsibility. Let's talk about fight or flight. Here we go. Weird segue, Heather. I know.
What am I doing?
That's all right.
We're tracking a high-value target.
The ghost is a black hat terrorist.
Deliver the mark to us alive, you get your life back.
We have a big problem.
There isn't a country in the Western Hemisphere that doesn't have a bounty in the ghost's head.
Are you telling me that plane is full of killers?
Rough name?
open the door.
1 second!
You're looking for someone that's on this plane.
And other people are looking too.
Right. Can you find me something to change into?
Who hired you? You're not even sober.
Getting way closer than I'd like to be. If I bring you ghost and alive, I'm free.
What the hell are you doing?
Trying to help you.
Now, these people are paid a lot of money for first-class service, and I cannot have them disturbed.
Stop! Please!
I got a cat bite. Sorry.
Cat wants to see action.
What the? Start going through the luggage. There must be something we can use as weapons. Oh, yeah.
The security of millions is at stake.
All right. Fight or Flight in theaters this week from Vertical Entertainment. And as I said earlier, the amazing Heather Hurd got to talk to the cast. I just want to say, if you love action, you're getting fucking action and blood and action and more blood and action. It's just a straight up popcorn fun ride. I had fun with it. It's not Shakespeare. If you want Shakespeare, we have other interviews on the channel dealing with Shakespeare this week as well. And actually, we're not covering it, but Juliet and Romeo is dropping this week. Heather has interviews with that. You can check that out. I didn't make it one of the picks because I'm giving you 4 right now, and I have 1 more. But yeah, I just had fun with it. It's a fun film, popcorn film. What do you want to add on that, Heather?
It's Bullet Train on a plane. Like it's but different characters. It is a little bit more funny than it was like we just had in Bullet Train. You just had Brad Pitt kind of be in this humorous undertone. In this case, everyone's funny, other than ironically Katie Sackhoff, who is I love her. It's our Bo-Katan always. She has to play this very stoic, kind of like boring, like bureaucrat. And so it's actually brought up, which is like, how do you play off of that? You got to be the boring one. I didn't say it that way, but she went into it. But it's I got to speak to Rebel Wilson yesterday and Josh Hartnett and Katie Sackhoff today. Like I'm fine. I'm doing good. I'm cool. I had fun with Rebel Wilson. Go check out that Juliet and Romeo writing in theaters also this week. And I the PR just to tag in real quick, the PR for that, and I actually talked to about this with her, says that we need to talk to her about being a mom. And it's just like this young woman who's playing the mother of a 20-year-old. She goes into it. It's really, really funny. It's fun talking to comedians and letting them be comedians. But with that being said, this was a fun movie. Is it a phenomenal movie? No. Is it a weird movie? Because you literally have these like really highly choreographed action sequences between aisles on an international flight. 100%. It's kind of goofy.
You're going to be wincing with some of the like things that you see.
Yeah. There's all if once again, the reason why I brought up Bullet Train is it's basically that, like, there were moments where you're like, and it's kind of how you're going to do it with this movie. There's going to be moments where you're like, oh, that sounded like that could have hurt a lot. But it's a fun and entertaining movie. My husband was not happy that I watched it by myself, but I needed to. Look, I was talking to Josh Hartnett. I had to. And by the way, just so y'all know, I didn't give KAYFABEYBABY the option. I didn't give him the option. He says he had the option because of scheduling, but no. When he called me last week, he was just like, oh, I have an interview with Josh Hartnett. And I was just like, no, you don't. No, you don't. I do.
You made it happen. You made it materialize into the air. And your husband
that
can
was
still
not-
watch it. There's still time. There's still time. You can.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying that we don't totally share. We don't just share. We don't totally allow our partners to see our stuff as along with us. Absolutely not. That would be breaking NDAs and doing all sorts of fun things. No, that's just kidding. This isn't Disney. We don't have an NDA.
All right. So yes, check out Fight or Flight, the amazing interviews that Heather will have, as well as Juliet and Romeo that I'm not including in my picks this week, but we also did some great interviews for that. And maybe we'll do a review on that as well as Fight or Flight. We got a lot of reviews to do, y'all. We still have last year's stuff to catch up on. I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's time. It's just all time. But my top pick this week that also I'm jelly with Heather on because she talked to the star of this film. My favorite film this week. I enjoyed all the other films, but this one I really had fun with because I like American Pie. I like raunchy humor, but I also love it when the females are leading the way because women can be just as raunchy as us men. And I just love the layers and just the self-growth. You know, the underlying theme of this film I really enjoyed, and the friendship and all of that. It's called Summer of '69, y'all. It's dropping on Hulu. So if you don't want to head to the theaters, you just want to be at home and just enjoy with some friends and some wine, check out Summer of '69. Let's check out the trailer.
I want to pay you to teach me how to 69 max.
Okay, slightly more details.
Here's the thing. All I ever wanted is Max Warren. What is he into?
Max loves to 69.
Every person on Earth was more sexually experienced than me. And then everything changed. I found my sexual fairy godmother in a strip club.
You've got yourself a little sex coach.
Can you please stop thrusting your crotch? Let's start with what you know. I've heard of rim jobs. Is it when a guy puts his hands on the rim of your boobs and goes,
Ee-oo, ee-oo. So we're starting at 0. In order to really enjoy your first sexual experience, you have to be good at giving direction.
Right? Careful.
He's rock hard.
Oh! Yeah, don't do that.
If you're a good dancer, you're good in bed.
I'm done with Magic Mike's awkward niece.
What do you think is gonna happen if you get to 69 max? It'd be nice to have someone. We could watch movies, braid each other's hair, like us. Oh my god, you really are a dork. I have never worn heels before.
Let's hear it. Who are you?
I am a sex machine!
Yes, bitch! There she is!
Did you know your eyelid feels like a penis? Wait, it does actually, right?
All right, dropping on Hulu this week, Summer of '69. Heather, what was it like talking with the star Sam Morello? Did I get her name right?
Morales.
Sam Morello.
Samarello? Now I can't remember. I'm going to sound like an asshole. Samarello. Yeah, hold on.
Morelos.
Sorry.
Sam Morelos.
Morelos. I'm sorry. I knew it was close. Morelos. They are a lot of fun. They're a freshman in college, which I learned about in the interview. Very young, but talks like a freaking 40-year-old. Like very mature, very self-aware, and absolutely loved the role that they play in this. They loved playing Abby. It was really fun. The movie itself is fun and entertaining. It's about, it's just kind of that typical high school growing up movie, accepting who you are, accepting who you love, accepting how you love, accepting yourself. And hearing it from Sam, just very eloquent. They're very eloquent. And it was, I didn't even have to do much. Like, they even mentioned how they're like, I'm chatty. I chat. I'm like, okay.
That's why I can't wait to get on SHOPOWSHO. She just seems cool. Like really cool.
They're really cool. And once again, very knowledgeable, very accepting, very warm. And like a lot of great experiences with this, and that they're going to take for the rest of their career, for their education. And I can't wait to see more of what Sam does, because I think they're going to be a powerhouse. So
love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So yeah, I just had a lot of fun with the film. It was like American Pie. I don't think we've had a really good raunchy American Pie style comedy like that in a while, at least for me. And then also refreshing for me because a lot of that stuff that we did have back in that was more from the male gaze and male opinion. Women. I know women because I was in choir with majority of women in high school. Growing up, I was raised around women the majority of my life, and that's why I guess why I'm such an ally, and I understand how evil my fellow men are. That, with that being said, what I would see on the screen in Hollywood, I'm like, where the hell are the women giving their opinion? Because y'all are just as because y'all were we're refined, we don't do stuff like that. The way Hollywood would present women, right?
Yeah.
But no, you are all just as evil and nasty and dirty as us men. It's equal value out here in these streets.
Absolutely.
It was refreshing, and I love it. It was great to see.
It's important to understand that humans are animals, and animals, it does not matter your gender, your sex, your race. We are animals, and we will do what animals do. And by limiting the ability of women to say what they want, do what they want, be who they want, you are actually limiting the sexual actions of men. I'm going to say that right now. You are limiting what women will do and what women can do. So, and everyone in between, because there are, of course, more genders. There's, men, women, everyone on the outside and everyone on the inside. So, but from a strictly, and I apologize for the binary usage here. When you limit women and people with female anatomy to do stuff like that, it's detriment to men. You're doing it to yourselves, guys. But yeah, we haven't had like a really raunchy film like this since the Euro trip, since the American Pie. We haven't had any of that in a while. The late 1990s to the 2010s. It's been a hot minute, and I do think that this one would definitely catch in there for just a raunchy, goofy film that's about family, about friends, about growing up. So, absolutely.
So much fun. I was very delighted. So that is the last pick I have. So we have Clown in a Cornfield, a horror film. We have So Torn, a nice thriller drama. We have Fight or Flight with some action, and Summer of '69 with some comedy with a raunchy tip. And also we'll throw in Juliet and Romeo out there. It's a Shakespeare with a more musical pop twist on the Shakespearean sonnets and ballads and all that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the musical. Just to say, the music was written by the same people who also write for artists like Beyonce and Rihanna. So like, it's that type of pop. It's that like, and it's not this. It's modern language, not modern language. It's more concise, simplified language. It's not like, you're not hearing thou every 45 seconds. You're hearing, just regular words being used by people. And it's also an aged up story. You're not going to see as, these young 16-year-olds. It's some kids in their, late 20 or their early 20s living their lives. So that's what it's. And Rebel Wilson's a mom, which is the weirdest thing to me of all of it. She went from being a college student and everything to being the mother of a 20-year-old. It's very weird. I don't know why. It's weird. Anyway, thumbs up.
Thumbs up week.
Thumbs up week.
It's a all right. It's a blend of everything. There's something for everyone this week, which is really cool. I'm digging it. All right, y'all. Those are our thoughts. Those are our picks. Let us know what you think. If we missed anything, if you're vibing on these, hit us up in the comments. Go check out our rack of interviews for pretty much, with these picks. If fingers crossed as we're talking, we have interviews with each one of these titles, hopefully, if everything works out right for the picks this week. So I love it. There you go. That's my pal Heather. I'm Creepy. Nerds rule the world. See you next week, y'all. Peace.